Palestine!
Hands off the Middle East!
Hands off the Middle East!
Hands off Iran!
Hands off Iran!
Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off Palestine!
Hands off Palestine!
Hands off the Middle East!
Hands off the Middle East!
Money for jobs and education!
Money for jobs and education!
Not for war and occupation!
For war and occupation!
Money for jobs and education!
Money for jobs and education!
Not for war and occupation!
For war and occupation!
Not for war and occupation!
For war and occupation!
Let me hear you, Baltimore!
How's it going, everyone? Thank you guys all for coming out today, especially under this beautiful weather. My name is Promise. I'm with the Party for Socialism and Liberation here in Baltimore. And as all of you know, we are here under very grave circumstances. The US and Israel have launched an offensive against Iran, that has already rippled to Lebanon, Gaza, and beyond in only the first days. On the first day of the aggression, an elementary school for girls in the city of Manab was bombed in an air raid, reportedly killing over 160 people and counting. Israel has yet again closed Gaza's borders to even the measly amount of humanitarian aid it was previously allowing in. Israeli airstrikes on the southern suburbs of Beirut have killed over 50 people. The idea that any of these acts are being carried out to bring democracy and human rights to Iran or anywhere else is a sick joke. As is the idea that these acts of war could in any way be categorized as acts of self-defense. Iran has not attacked the United States and has no intention to. Trump decided to initiate this war because he wants to be able to dictate to any government around the world what it should do in its own country. J.D. Vance claims there's no chance the U.S. and Israeli aggression against Iran will turn into another endless war in the Middle East. A claim that is hard to believe given that Trump's administration has ordered the largest U.S. military buildup in the Middle East since 2003. When the Bush administration launched its invasion of Iraq. Trump claims the war will last 4 to 5 weeks, though he has admitted it could go far longer. But even if the Trump administration sticks to a plan that will end this war in a few weeks, we are here to say that it needs to end today. Even if they feel they can end it in a month, a year, or 2 years from now, we are here to say that it needs to end right now. Because it's killing Iranians now. It's killing Palestinians now. It's killing Lebanese people now. And it's killing Americans now. And it's not just American soldiers paying the price. It's all Americans. Millions of Americans now live without Medicaid and without food stamps because of cuts the Trump administration proudly fought for. But the U.S. has over $1 trillion to act as an international gangster committing mass murder across the world. Every night, there are veterans forced to sleep on the streets. But the U.S. But the U.S. has over $1 trillion to send young, poor Americans to kill and die for the freedom to come home and become homeless. But any freedom we have in this country does not come from killing our brothers and sisters abroad. It comes and has historically come from the struggles of everyday working people for a world that benefits us. struggles against the same forces that profit off the destruction and occupation of countries across the globe and communities right here at home. From ICE terror to genocide to mass incarceration to war, it is the same small few who profit and the rest of us who pay the price. Iran is not our enemy. Iran has no intentions to build a nuclear weapon, and unlike Israel, has been a member of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty since 1970. The biggest threat to world peace is not Iran, but the US, the only country that currently has weapons, the only country that has over 5,000 nuclear weapons deployed in bases, submarines, bombers, and atop intercontinental ballistic missiles all over the world. In order to see that Iran is not our enemy, we have to recognize who our enemies really are. Because our enemies are on Wall Street, our enemies are in the boardrooms of weapon manufacturers and health insurance companies that profit off of our suffering one way or another. Our enemies are in unmarked ICE vehicles. Our enemies are in the White House. So knowing who we are up against, we know that we must continue to struggle, not just for the basic democratic rights that Trump is trying to strip away, but for the rights we have yet to win. For the abolition of ICE and the full legal rights of immigrants, for women's liberation, for black liberation, for indigenous liberation, for the liberation of Palestine, and for the right of Cuba, Venezuela, China, Niger, Iran, and all nations to determine their own destiny free from US intervention.
Thank you. Please make some noise for Promise again. Thank you, Promise. All right, our first speaker from a partner organization on tonight's action, from an organization that has been doing consistent work in the city, building the movement for Palestine, and is just as committed to the anti-war movement, whether that war is on Iran or on Cuba or on Venezuela or anywhere else around the world. Please welcome from Baltimore DSA, Sahel.
Right. There's a lot that we all know about this war. We've all seen the disastrous consequences of the US's invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan, the mutilation of social fabric, and countless lives lost for absolutely nothing. We know that this suffering is part of the future Israel and the US have in mind for Iran. Something that not all of us know is who they want to lead Iran. Reza Pahlavi, son of the Shah, the one who the CIA did a coup for, and then the Iranian people overthrew him after decades of tyranny. Well, since the revolution, his son has been living in the US, specifically in Potomac, Maryland. Now, do any of you, as Marylanders, think that your experience here entitles you to rule over a country you haven't been in decades? Neither do I. It would be a joke if this wasn't so horrible. But this is what it looks like when an imperial power is allowed to act with impunity. This is what it looks like when Zionism goes unchecked. No one with the power to do so has been willing to make the United States or Israel stop. No one stopped Trump from tearing up the deal with Iran in his first term. No one stopped Biden from keeping up those sanctions and pushing the Iranian economy to the brink. No one stopped either of them from supporting and funding Israel's genocide in Gaza. No one stopped Israel from invading and occupying land in Lebanon and Syria. No one stopped Israeli settlers from stealing the homes of families in the West Bank. No one stopped the United States from kidnapping Venezuela's head of state. With all that in mind, it is obvious how this war began the way it did. A smokescreen of diplomacy, a precise strike on Iran's leadership, and an equally precise strike on a school filled with young girls. They don't care about human lives, and they think that nobody can make them care. What do we say to that? Shame. That's right, shame. But as powerful as our voices are together, expressing our grief and anger at a protest isn't enough to stop this. We need to use this as a place to join organizations and make connections between our campaigns. It is long and slow work, but there isn't an alternative. As residents of the Imperial Core, whose tax dollars fund these heinous acts of aggression and domination, we have the power and the responsibility to bring U.S. Zionist genocide and imperialism to an end. We must fully reject all U.S. ties to Israel and enact boycott, divestment, and sanctions against all companies that benefit it. From the surveillance companies trained on Palestinians and used to suppress dissent over here, to those that supplied weapons for attacks in Palestine, Syria, and Lebanon, and Iran. Join the Apartheid-Free Baltimore campaign, you can talk to me about it, to declare this city a zone that rejects the violence and terror enacted by Israel and the United States. Those countries are the greatest threat to humanity, and we will use our power to grind the machine to a halt. The people united.
Never be defeated.
Whoa.
No more coups, no more wars.
No more coups, no more wars.
The Middle East isn't yours.
Middle East isn't yours.
No more coups, no more wars.
No more coups, no more wars.
The Middle East isn't yours.
Middle East isn't yours.
No more coups, no more wars.
No more coups, no more wars.
The Middle East isn't yours.
Middle East isn't yours.
From the belly of the beast,
From the belly of the beast,
hands off the Middle East.
hands off the Middle East.
From the belly of the beast,
From the belly of the beast,
hands off the Middle East.
hands off the Middle East.
Let me hear you, Baltimore.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Sahel from DSA, for that amazing speech. Our next speaker is going to clarify and continue to build on the fact that this war, that the wars of the United States are not in the interest of you and I. They are in the interest of corporate executives, of billionaires, but they are not for you or I. Please welcome up from the Progressive Labor Party, Dayan.
Thank you. Down with fascism, up with communist revolution. Down with fascism, up with communist revolution. Up with communist revolution. I lost my, just 1 second here. Okay. I hand out the flyers to most of you guys, and I won't read the whole flyer, but I will read just the last section of it. The only solution is communist revolution. The path forward lies not in choosing one capitalist camp over another, but in building international solidarity against a system that breeds war. Only mass international movement will crush the racist and sexist profit system that concentrates wealth in the hands of the few and replace it with a system run by workers who will harness the enormous potential of all and distribute the fruits of their labor according to need. Progressive Labor Party has been at the forefront of the communist movement for over 50 years. Immersing ourselves in militant working class struggles in the schools, universities, hospitals, factories, military, and churches. We advocate that only a mass international movement of millions fighting directly for communist economic relations will destroy capitalism. Its racist artificial borders and its endless imperialist wars. Fight back against the bombings. Fight for communism. Join Progressive Labor Party. Thank you.
Pentagon kills by the hour. What do we do? Fight the power. Pentagon kills by the hour. What do we do? Fight the power. Pentagon kills by the hour. What do we do? Fight the power. Let me hear you.
All right, our next speaker is from an organization that understands that the struggle to end wars is the struggle for black liberation, and that the struggle for peace is not just the absence of violence, but a struggle to give us the things that we need. But to have that, we need self-determination, we need power. So please welcome up from the Black Alliance for Peace, Devon.
Peace, y'all. My name is Devon. I'm here from Black Alliance for Peace. I have a statement for you, y'all to listen to. Since the 1979 revolution, Iran has been a consistent target. This war is inextricably linked to the U.S. strategy of full spectrum dominance across the global south. The U.S. has been bombing Caribbean Sea and Eastern Pacific, Iraq, Nigeria, Somalia, Yemen, and Iran. The U.S. has attempted to invade Cuba, is aiding genocide in Palestine, aiding drone strikes in Haiti, bombed and invaded Venezuela, and bombed to install a puppet government in Syria. Iran is targeted precisely because it provides a model of sovereignty and independent development. Its resource wealth is meant for its people, not for plunder. But more than that, Iran is targeted for its unwavering support for the Palestinian people's right to resist an occupation that has cost over 100,000 lives. This is the core of it. The U.S. remains the #1 threat to world peace, defending Israeli expansionism by embracing what can only be called international lawlessness. This criminal escalation serves only the imperialist Zionist warmongers and flies in the face of global public opinion. The material consequence of the strategy is that it always falls hardest on working class people through sanctions that deny medicine and food and through the constant threat of war. This is why resistance must be multifaceted. Alongside geopolitical solidarity, we need material demands. The boycott of events like the World Cup and the Olympics is a concrete lever. When Iran faces tightened visa rules or is threatened with exclusion, our demand must be clear. No participation under the banner of business as usual while bombs are falling. Zionist imperialist impunity cannot continue. We must see Iran's resistance as a defense of the entire global south. And we must build a movement that connects the streets of Tehran to the streets of Havana to the streets of Baltimore, because in the end, any distinction between foreign and domestic repression, the world must recognize that this war is a struggle for a multipolar world, for sovereignty and for the future of all oppressed people. No compromise, no retreat. Thank you.
From Iran to Palestine. Occupation is a crime. From Iran to Palestine. Occupation is a crime. From Iran
In every successful anti-war movement, when the anti-war movement has been strongest, that is because of the steadfast commitment, because of the dedication and the involvement and engagement of veterans and active service members saying that this war is not for us either. So to clarify that point and to expand on that, please welcome up to the stage Sarah.
My name is Sarah O'Hearn. I was an 11-year Army veteran, and I was active in the global war on terrorism, which was a crock of shit, just like the war on drugs. I'll speak today to my personal experience in the last couple of weeks, especially since the second iteration of the Trump administration. I have been working with About Face for over a year at this point, and we are desperately making sure that as many service members as we can get ears listening are listening to the call, to listen to their better judgment, to follow their moral compass in spite of what their commanding officers may tell them. They know, and they should know, that they will be the one to bear the brunt of all of the aftermath for the crimes that they are being asked to commit by this genocidal occupier colonizer nation. It is the shame and the duty that I bear as an individual who was born in this country, who has profited, who has been able to benefit from systems set up for me and my family that the rest of the United States does not have access to, although they should. And they used to tell us that they sell fighting for democracy by giving you socialism when you join the military, and that is an unbalanced, unequal, and unfair thing to do, both to the populations of people around the world who are the victims of American U.S. imperial aggression, Israeli aggression that is done by proxy through American soldiers. So I can only talk to my own personal experience. I saw it myself when I saw a child almost obliterated by a drone being operated from thousands of miles away, hitting an area in North Africa. And that hit me that day, and I thought to myself, what the fuck am I doing here? I couldn't believe that I had allowed myself to delude myself to the point that I got there. But I finally fucking woke up, and that started the end of my career. And now I'm making a call out to all of the veterans and the active duty servicemen. You know what you're being asked to do is wrong. And you should know that the imperial boomerang is back here now. And one day when you come home, if you haven't been murdered by these rich men, you will be asked to murder your brothers, sisters, cousins, neighbors, everybody else that you love, that you never thought was a part of your mission. They will become your mission. So make your decision now. Thank you.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
Tell the U.S. go to hell.
Tell the U.S. go to hell.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
Israel can go to hell.
Israel can go to hell.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
Tell the U.S. go to hell.
Tell the U.S. go to hell.
It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel.
Israel can go to hell.
Israel can go to hell.
Let me hear ya.
All right, thank you. And our final speaker from our final partner organization for tonight, from an organization that understands that the war on Iran is also a war on the people of Palestine. Please welcome from the Palestinian Youth Movement, Ethan.
From the belly of the beast,
From the belly of the beast,
hands off the Middle East.
hands off the Middle East.
From the belly of the beast,
From the belly of the beast,
hands off the Middle East.
hands off the Middle East.
Peace, comrades and community. I'm an organizer with the Palestinian Youth Movement, a transnational, grassroots, and independent movement of Arabs dedicated to liberating the land and people from Zionism and imperialism. As the US and Israel attack Iran and threaten to ignite a regional war, The Zionist occupation is relying on lessened attention on Gaza, reimposing a total siege and returning the population to the brink of death by starvation and malnutrition. Israel has closed all crossings, quote, until further notice, with humanitarian staff rotations being postponed indefinitely and aid workers unable to enter or leave. Per the UN, less than 170 of the 600 trucks scheduled to enter Gaza daily have been entering. That number has now become zero and will remain so long as the crossing remains closed. After enduring the most brutal genocide, this leaves the people in Gaza with no access to food, water, medical supplies, and returns them back to a state of famine during the holy month of Ramadan. Shame! Shame! We demand the unconditional lifting of the siege on Gaza for the unimpeded flow of goods, equipment, and people immediately. We must note that this round of US-backed Zionist aggression is only a continuation of the genocide in Gaza and the colonization of Palestine. The Zionists' end goal is the Greater Israel Project. Since 1948, Israel has refused to define its borders in hopes that large-scale expansion is possible beyond historic Palestine. This is no fringe idea, but rather an integral part of Zionist history and ideology. Beginning with Theodor Herzl in the 19th century and continued today by Netanyahu, the Greater Israel Project is an expression of ceaseless expansionism and settlement. Like Manifest Destiny here in the US,
White bitches. Give me out that focus free.
the water really messes with the screen after a while. Ceaseless expansionism and settlement. Like Manifest Destiny here in the US, it calls on the Zionist movement to settle all lands from the Nile to the Euphrates, encompassing all of Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and parts of Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Turkey. From the Nakba in 1967 to the current assaults on Iran, Israel has occupied the Sinai Peninsula and Beirut and continues to occupy land in southern Lebanon and southwest Syria, including the Syrian Golan Heights. The past 2 years of genocide and the last 70 years of Zionist occupation and colonization shows us that Zionism's appetite cannot be satiated. It is on us to stop it. When countries like Iran and those across the Arab world resist, Israel and the US respond by bombing hospitals, schools, town halls, and numerous public institutions. Several reactionary Arab regimes have joined the US and Israel in their plan to occupy and steal Gaza through the newly declared, quote, Board of Peace. These Arab governments want financial and military support from the US and Israel, but history shows us that when Arab governments normalize with Israel, it sets the stage for their own people's death and displacement. We're told to listen to Iranians, but conveniently only to those who justify American missiles raining down death and destruction on their land and people. We know as students of history that the US and Israel have no interest in liberating the Iranian people. On the contrary, the US seeks to violate the very sovereignty of Iran, much like it has and continues to do so in Venezuela, in Cuba, in Iraq, in Haiti, in Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and so many other countries. As people in the heart of empire, we have a unique obligation to end the unified Zionist US violence. We in the Palestinian Youth Movement are spearheading a campaign calling on the Virginia retirement system to divest their $300 million worth of investments in over 14 weapons manufacturer companies. This campaign is part of a global effort to enact a people's arms embargo. We refuse to let our tax dollars fund endless wars and neglect the people's needs. You can talk to me afterwards if you're interested in signing the campaign or if your organization would like to endorse it. The Palestinian Youth Movement also supports the Maryland Break the Bonds campaign, which aims to divest Maryland's public retirement system from Zionism. We encourage everyone, including organizations and businesses, to also sign the Apartheid-Free Baltimore campaign and commit to boycotting and divesting from Zionism here locally. In the end, all attempts at stopping resistance to Zionism and imperialism will fail. The Palestinian struggle will endure, and we will succeed because our struggle resonates in the hearts of Arabs across the region and with our people globally. The people of the world have looked into the mirror that is Palestine and seen a reflection of themselves, that their oppression is our oppression, that their struggle is our struggle, and that the liberation for Palestine from Zionism and imperialism will mean liberation not just for the entire Arab world, but for people everywhere. We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
End the occupation now!
End the occupation now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
End the occupation now!
End the occupation now!
Thank you.
Make some noise for Ethan from the Palestinian Youth Movement again. Thank you, Ethan. All right, as we close, I want to briefly reflect on something that I heard from my students this week. I teach juniors and seniors in high school, and they were asking me, like, is Iran going to bomb us? And I had to tell them, it's not Iran that you have to worry about. It's not Iran that bombed a school of girls this week. It's not Iran that tried to assassinate Fidel Castro hundreds of times. It's not Iran that bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's not Iran that has assassinated leaders all around the world. That was the United States. That's what we're fighting against. We know who our enemy is. It's not Iran.
That's right.
We know that what we're told about American democracy when we see the Statue of Liberty, we know what American democracy means. American democracy sounds like a bomb. American democracy feels like a bullet. American democracy tastes like blood. We know what it means when they say they're bringing democracy to a country. We've seen it time and time again. And we know that while they tell us that they're bringing democracy to people all around the world, we here in Baltimore, we here in the United States have to struggle. While we try to afford rent, while we try to afford BG&E bills, while we try to afford our groceries and everything else that we need, they are spending more than $1 trillion on the Department of War. Shame. There are children in our city, students of mine, who tonight will be hungry. There will be likely over 2,000 people in our city tonight who will be without a home. That's a shame, and it's a choice. Every bomb that's dropped, every bullet that is fired is a choice by someone, which means that our current state of affairs is not inevitable. Wars did not fall from above us. Wars were not ordained by God. Wars are a decision that our leaders wake up and make every single day. And that means that we have the power to stop those wars, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what does it take to stop something like a war? What has it taken to stop wars for successful anti-war movements in the United States? It means that it's not just a small group of people on the left or a small group of people who know better who are acting. It means that we, every single one of us here tonight, brings what we know, brings what we believe to our coworkers, to our neighbors, to our classmates, to our family. Every single one of them needs to understand that this war is not for us, and that this war is killing people abroad as the United States ruling class is killing our people here, just as they did Dwight Hawkins less than a week ago. Shame!
Shame!
What right does the United States have to bring democracy, to bring peace, to stand for the women, to stand for oppressed people anywhere around the world when we know what our world looks like right here? But just like we can fight that abroad, we can fight that here. And every single one of us tonight, by being out here in the cold, in the rain, on a Tuesday night, none of us have a lot of extra time. Every single one of us is here. And I believe that we should celebrate that. Please make some noise for yourselves. But we also know that our work is very clearly not done. As this war rages on, there is so much to be done. And while we're coming to the close of our action, this Saturday is the next call to action nationally. There will be cities around the country, including right here in Baltimore, where we will be mobilizing. Can I expect to see you there? I'm sorry, can I expect to see you there on Saturday? I know, and we have a lot of work to do, but together there's not a force in the world that is strong enough to stop an organized and unified working class. From Baltimore to Palestine!
From Baltimore to Palestine!
Revolution in our lifetime.
Revolution in our lifetime.
From Baltimore to Palestine.
From Baltimore to Palestine.
Revolution in our lifetime.
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 Thank you, everyone. Please get home safely. I'll see you on Saturday.